Let's don some robes and mutter about our dark secrets from the past, because it's time for the channel's first Dark Angels video. Let's see how Chapter Approved has shaken things up for the Unforgiven. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, the strategy focused 40k channel, where we're all about getting the most out of our miniatures on the tabletop. We'll be continuing our look at Chapter Approved today with a look at all the changes for the Dark Angels. They've most certainly been struggling for a fair bit, compared with the other big scary armies out there, and today they've received a massive series of points reductions that should certainly have them competing again. We also know that they're going to be starring in the next Psychic Awakening book, which, if it's anything like Blood of Baal, is going to be an absolutely massive buff to the Sons of the Lion. Now, almost every single Dark Angel's unique unit got a points reduction in the book, some much more than others. I believe the only ones that remain the same as the unique units are the Dark Shroud, which frankly is already very good, as giving a -1 to hit aura for everyone around it is a huge defensive buff, and the Raven-Wing Talon Master. Now, the Talon Masters are quite fragile, but they can't actually be shot at all when they're behind your units, and I actually think that they're a really powerful piece in the Dark Angels army. There aren't many units that can sit back behind character protection and unleash 18 high strength anti-infantry shots per turn, so I'm honestly not too bothered that these didn't go down in cost. As units go, they're already pretty strong. But without further ado, let's look at what did change. First to note is that all of the units that are the same as Codex Space Marines now have the same cost as in Codex Space Marines. For example, Reavers saw that point reduction that took them down to 16 points per model. Thunderhammers on characters went up to 40 points. I believe the Repulsor Executioner went slightly up as well. And a lot of units saw minor points reductions, such as Tactical Marines going down to 12 points. So that's all well and good, they're nicely homogenised. When they get their Psychic Awakening book, they'll be every bit as hilariously scary as the regular Space Marine Codex is, and the Blood Angels now. But let's move on to look at their unique units. As you can see, pretty much every single unique character went down in points. Asmodai is now 110 from 130. Azrael's down to 150. A whopping 30 point reduction that. I really like Azrael as a buffing character because he gives infantry that 4-up invul save, which is very powerful indeed, particularly on things like Intercessors and Hellblasters and the like. Belial will be a better beatstick than ever, now he's lost 1/6 of his points, and Ezekiel I think saw the biggest percentage points drop, dropping down to 110 points from 135. Samael in Sableclaw went down 16 points, which is very nice indeed as he was already a rock solid unit. Like I said with the Talon Masters earlier, being able to sit behind your own units, not be shot, and dish out 18 very accurate anti-infantry shots per turn is very scary and can be challenging for your opponent to deal with, and is also no slouch in combat too. Samael, when he's mounted on Corvex, went down even further though. He'll only cost you 140 points on that plasma cannon toting jet bike. I really like this change in particular, as I personally would never have bothered to field him on Corvex compared with Sableclaw previously. Now he's so much cheaper on Corvex, it might be more of a decision. The two very snazzy elites choices of the Codex, the Deathwing Knights and the Raven-Wing Knights, both went down in points. I believe that the Raven-Wing Black Knights used to pay for their Corvus Hammers at 4 points. They now don't have to pay for those, they're free, so that puts them at 34 points per model. This means that you could have a 340 point unit potentially putting out 20 strength 8 damage 3 shots combined with weapons of the Dark Age. I'm sure after moving a hilariously long way and then piling into close combat to murder people up with those hammers. Between their Codex and the Vigilus detachment, Dark Angels have a lot of good options for the Raven Wing, mobility and defense wise, so I'm pretty sure that these will be seeing play. Deathwing Knights got a bit of a smaller points reduction, only going down to 35 points where they were previously 37, though they will have more a job competing with their regular Terminator counterparts now they've dropped in line with the Space Marine Codex down to 34 points when you include the Power Fist and Stormbolter. Overall, Deathwing have never been better, and I'm really hoping for some nice goodies from the new Psychic Awakening book to further help them out. I suspect at the very least they'll probably get access to Fury of the First, the stratagem that allows a Terminator squad to add 1 to hit rolls in the fight or shooting phase. The Land Speed of Vengeance has seen a much needed points drop. It's now 100 points in total when you include the Heavy Bolter cost. Whether or not it will see competitive play remains to be seen, because it really was garbage rules wise prior to this, which is a shame for such a nice model. This is certainly a huge step in the right direction though, so well done to Games Workshop for sending this in the right direction. The 2 flyers have both gone down, the Dark Talons down 15 points, so it will now be 185 points including its Hurricane Bolters. This is good, as Dark Talons were already one of the better units out of the Dark Angels Codex, though not by any means overpowered. I believe their points were increased in a previous chapter approved around the point when people were running 9 of them before the rule of 3 came into effect. I think it's perfectly reasonable to put them back where they were now. We're certainly not seeing them spammed all over the place like we were. The Nephilim jet fighter has come down as well. It's minus 33 points, so it's now 142 points when you arm it with the Avenger Mega Bolter, though that twin las cannon is also cheaper than it was before. 40 points for 2 las cannons is a bit of a steal, so this thing might actually be seeing some play compared with the Dark Talon now. You never know. It's certainly a step in the right direction. Ravenwing land speeders have come down 5 points, and I believe the cost of the Typhoon missile launcher also came down as part of the Codex Space Marine homogenization, so they're 2 small buffs for land speeder armies. I'm still honestly not sure if they'll be the best things to run just because of how fragile they are, but Dark Angels do love their land speeders, so it's only a good thing that they're moving in the right direction. Finally, the unique Deathwing and Ravenwing Apothecaries, Champions and Ancients have all come down in points by large margins. To be honest, these guys were almost hilariously overcosted before, so now we might actually see them competing somewhat with the HQ choices, whereas I probably would have just run, say, a Master with a Thunder Hammer before in the old Codex. In particular, I think that the Deathwing Ancient is really interesting now that he is so cheap. He might just be worth it as a support character now. So overall, I think that this is a really powerful raft of improvements to the Dark Angels, who sorely needed it as they were currently one of the lowest tier armies in my opinion, and it's good that all of their unique stuff saw some points reductions, as it means that we might be seeing more of their unique and fun units on the table. Like I said, I'm looking forward to their Psychic Awakening book, which I believe is coming out sometime in January. It's good to see factions go from the bottom rung to somewhere near the top again. If there's anything that I've missed out or got wrong in this video, please let me know down in the comments. Compared with many armies, Dark Angels aren't one I know quite as well, so I do apologise if I've got anything wrong. If you found this useful, please feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics for more content like this, or to support me on Patreon, if you would like to support the channel. Thanks very much for listening. I'll hope to see you guys next time.